Alrighty, let's go ahead and get started. It might be recording this screen instead of that screen. So just letting you know, if you guys are going back to review, it's gonna look differently than this one. Do you guys know how to change it out?
I got you.
Change out the view? You can't change out the view, right? Yeah, never mind. Okay, so cryptocurrency. What we're gonna do is overview. You're gonna make your own teams. Minimum 2, maximum 4. If you need to make a team of 5, talk to me, okay? And then within your teams, I'm going to assign however many number of people you have, that many different Bitcoins, okay? Or not Bitcoins, sorry. That many different types of cryptocurrency, okay? Once you have that assignment, you guys get to decide who wants to take which crypto, okay? You research on those crypto on your own, following all of these guidelines. Then you are going to make a recommendation to me in a group to Mrs. Byun presentation, not class presentation, okay? You're gonna treat me like your client. I am going to give you guys a, like either a spinner or a drawing of the hat where there are different types of people who are looking to buy crypto. For example, like a really young person who just started their career in banking want to invest in crypto aside from their work. So what would you recommend? A person who is a teacher who has been working for 10 plus years, they want to invest in crypto, but don't want to go too aggressive that they end up losing because they don't get a lot of savings. Or a retired person who has a lot in savings, right? Nearing the end of their lives, but want to invest in some crypto to leave and pass on to generational wealth, okay? So things like that. Like I'll give you like different kind of situations, different kinds of people, and then you guys make your recommendation based on their life. So, yes.
So are we presenting to the whole class, right?
Are we presenting to the whole class? No. I just said you are presenting group to Mrs. Byun. Okay? You're going to treat me like your client. Okay? Anyone else? So do you understand like the big overarching like things to do? Okay. So for today, what you're going to do is you're going to go to a graphic organizer, which is already linked in your Schoology. Watch the video with me, and I want you to fill out the graphic organizer just to kind of get the bases under your belt, okay? I'm new to crypto too. I'm not going to lie, okay? I'm new to crypto. This has only been around for the last, not even 10 years, right? 5 years? So it hasn't been around that long. So we don't know enough to actually figure things out yet. But we want to be able to using the math that we know. So these are the parts that we're going to be using in math. So it's closely tied to what we are supposed to be doing for logarithms, okay? And exponentials. Mainly exponentials. I'm going to give you guys all the background stuff, and you guys would know how to do this even without the math, okay? The math kind of enters in as soon as you have your data. Once you have your data, we're going to use our calculators, our lovely TI-84CE color calculators. We are going to use these to figure out the exponential regression equation, which is going to be a line of best fit among all of the data that you have, okay? In order for the data to be consistent, I want you to pick out 15th of each month from July 2023, okay? So that's the most recent years, so that way you have the most recent info on this, okay? What else? And then you're gonna be able to figure out future values of the crypto. You're going to figure out when it's going to hit a certain value. If you wanted to hit a certain value, how long do you think it'll take? We're going to do all of that as part of our project. Okay? Any questions? You will get mini lessons that teach you how to do these. I'm not going to leave you and say, good luck, and just kind of throw you in the deep end with these. Okay? Promise. And then the packets for your summer stuff or between now until the end of the school year, if you would like those, I am going to provide them for you by the end of this week, if not at the beginning of next week. Okay? Once you have it, you can ask me for help. You can also go to Mr. Siddell after school and ask him for help. He's completely available to you. If you have the packet with the answer key, Mr. Siddell's definitely going to be able to help you. Okay? Which is what I'm providing for you. Any questions on the packets? Yes.
What are Mr. Siddell's like after school hours? Like how long is he here for?
After school, he's here for about an hour. So I believe he's here from like 3:30 till 4:30. I could be wrong on the 4:30 part. Let me see. Oh, here it is. Okay. 3 to 4 on Mondays. For high school only, Tuesdays 3:25 till 4. Wednesday 3 to 4. Thursday 3 to 4. So you could go during point break as well. Okay? It's probably because he has middle school point break. Yeah. What's up?
We can make an appointment with him?
Nope. You can walk in. And you can walk in with me too. If I'm not around, then he's the person to go. Okay? Anyone else? Did you guys fill out the form online on Schoology for the packets? If you haven't, please do so. Did I include logs and exponentials in there?
Yes.
Good, okay. So logs, exponential, trig, stats, I believe those are the 3 options I gave you. All 3 or a combination of 2 or just 1, doesn't matter. Whatever you want, yeah.
So which one of the packets is, or which combination of the packets is most beneficial if we're taking trig and IEC next year?
I would take all 3 anyways, just so that you have some probability and statistics like basics under your belt. No matter which discipline you go into, you're going to use stats in some way. So especially if you're going into anything relating to social science, definitely you need to have some basic stats under your belt. Okay? So like poli-sci, econ, even psychology or sociology, all those like majors still take a lot of stats into play. So it would be good. But for immediate needs, I would say log, exponential, and trig. Okay? Anyone else? All right, so let's get going on this one. So I have this entire slide deck available to you with your name on it. I have a separate copy for each person. So you can use this any way you need to, okay? We're gonna start with the graphic organizer. Don't click on this one. Click on the one that's in Schoology because it'll be addressed to you and your name, okay? So you can fill it out yourself. And then the final product goal is going to be 2 things. 1, you are going to need to have a presentation slide for yourselves to know what to say and what to show me as a client. And I want you to create almost like a flyer infographic so I can take something with me so I know what I need to know in order for me to invest as I take it home. Does that make sense? Okay. All right. And then here we go. Each of you will be assigned a cryptocurrency to research. Your individual task is to research the cryptocurrency assigned to you and fill the information. You want to pick your teammates right now or later? Okay. Well, let me go through this first. So on this side, I believe this is slide 9 in your slide deck. I have all the options available to you, and I want you to use only these links. I am going to grade you on accuracy. I hope you heard me. This is not like, kind of vaguely, like this is about how much it was then. No, I have it down to the penny, and I want you to have it down to the penny. Here's the reason why. If you ever do make this your career, would you like to have an advisor who is accurate with their work or someone who is kind of like, it's about that much. Good luck. Here's some advice I have for you. Which one would you rather have? Accurate one, right? You want to get a good, accurate equation that you can use to predict the future. You don't want it to be so far off that it's going to end up losing you thousands and hundreds and thousands of dollars. Yes? Okay. So I'm going to grade you on accuracy. 15th of each month starting July 2023 is how you're going to collect the data. I want you to find 3 facts that make them unique from others. So that way you can bring that to the table as you make that suggestion to the client. Okay? What else? I think that's it. And then you are going to fill out slides 10 and 11 and submit it back to me. I will return it to you once I look at it and see that this is all filled out. Okay? Each person should be filling out their own for these 2 slides, for their assigned and chosen crypto. Okay? So it won't be one team sending this in to me. It'd be individuals sending it in to me to make sure that you guys are on the right path. Okay? Any questions so far? Yes.
Would now be a good time for me to ask about grading, or will you cover that later?
I will cover that later.
Okay.
Yeah. I want to make sure that it is finalized before I talk to you guys about it. But there are 5 categories that I'm looking at, and I'll talk to you guys later about it when I introduce the rubric. Okay? But is there something that's really bugging you or worried?
No, nothing. I was just curious.
Okay. So it has a data thing for presentation factor, but I would prefer that you guys use Google Sheets or Excel because you can use functions. The functions are going to be your best friend when it comes to answering questions. And you have to answer questions using, where are you? No, let's see. This one. I have individual crypto questions laid out on this slide. So each one has different set of 4 questions, depending on where they are at in their current marketplace. So it might be a little different for Bitcoin as it is for, let's see, Stellar. I'm looking at like, in what month will one Stellar coin be worth $2 versus in what month will one Bitcoin be worth $175,000? Okay, so it ranges greatly. So I have it customized for that particular cryptocurrency. I need these questions answered by the person who has been given that particular crypto. Okay, anything else? No? Okay. All right, let's get to our that one. So if you guys need to watch this on your own, it's available right here where that circle is. And then it's going to take you to the video that you need to watch. So we'll watch this together. Before I do, I want you to take out your Surface Pros and then open up the graphic organizer so you can fill it out as we go. It'll be really easy. Should I record this too? I might stop it, so I'll record it.
Welcome to 99bitcoins.com. I'm Nate Martin, and I'll be your guide through this video series, Bitcoin Whiteboard Tuesday. We're going to cover a lot of topics, such as Bitcoin mining, Bitcoin wallets, how to trade Bitcoin, and a lot more. Today, we're going to start from scratch and answer the 3rd most searched term on Google today: what is Bitcoin? If you're worried that we're going to get too technical and use a lot of complicated words, don't. Here at 99 Bitcoins, we translate Bitcoin into plain English, so even if you have no technical background, you'll be able to understand everything. By the end of this course, you'll know more about Bitcoin and how it works than 99% of the population. So let's get started. Before we talk about Bitcoin, I want to take a moment and talk about money. What is money exactly? At its core, money represents value. If I do some work for you, you give me money in exchange for the value I gave you. I can then use that money to get something of value from someone else in the future. Throughout history, value has taken many forms, and people have used a lot of different materials to represent money. Salt, wheat, shells, and of course gold have all been used as a medium of exchange. However, in order for something to represent value, people have to trust that it is indeed valuable and will stay valuable long enough for them to redeem that value in the future. Up until 100 years ago or so, we always trusted in something to represent money. However, something happened along the way, and we've changed our trust model from trusting something to trusting in someone. Let me explain.
All right, so we got 3 things to fill out. 1, what's money equal to? Trust, the first line, right? And then the next thing, oh, you don't know where you're at. Go to Schoology. There's a assignment called Graphic Organizer underneath a new folder for the project, cryptocurrency. Okay? It's the second assignment under that folder, and you should be able to access it with your name on it for the slide. Okay? Yes, Damien.
For me, it says link Google.
I can't hear you.
For me, it says link Google, and when I put link, it doesn't.
Okay, so then this is what you do. If it says that your copy is not available, it just says to submit. Is that what it says? Or there's nothing on Google related to it?
It's just loading for him to link it, but yeah.
So if it's not linked and it doesn't have a copy with your name on it, just submit it, like go to the submit button and then ask for a new copy. And then it'll give you a new one with your name on it. Okay? All right, so value equals trust. And then we went from trusting in something to someone or someone to something?
Something to someone.
Something to someone? Yeah, someone. Okay. All right, let's keep going.
Over time, people found it too cumbersome to walk around the world carrying bars of gold or other forms of money, so paper money was invented. Here's how it worked. A bank or government would offer to take possession of your bar of gold, let's say worth $1,000, and in return, that bank would give you receipt certificates, which we call bills, amounting to $1,000. Not only were these pieces of paper much easier to carry, but you could spend $1 on a cup of coffee and not have to cut your gold bar into 1,000 pieces. And if you wanted your gold back, you simply took $1,000 in bills back to the bank to redeem them for the actual form of money, in this case, that gold bar whenever you needed. And so, paper began its use as money as an instrument of practicality and convenience. However, as time progressed and due to macroeconomic changes, this bond between the paper receipt and the gold it stands for was broken. Now, to explain the path that led us away from the gold standards is extremely complex, but suffice to say that governments told their people that the government itself would be liable for the value of that paper money. Basically, we all said, let's just forget about gold and trade paper instead. So people continued to trade with receipts that are backed by nothing but the government's promise. And why did that continue to work? Well, because of trust. Even though there is no actual commodity backing paper money, people trusted the government, and that's how fiat money was created. Fiat is a Latin word that means by decree, meaning the dollars or euros or any other currency for that matter have value because the government orders it to. It's what's known as legal tender, coins or...
Okay. What's fiat money? It's known as legal tender, and it's only valid because the government says so. The government decreed it to be valuable to their people. Yeah, type it in. Great, type it in. You're done typing it in? Yeah. Fiat money?
Yeah.
Tell me what you wrote. What else?
And it's a Latin word, cream.
Okay, how does that relate to this government relationship with the fiat money? That's what I was saying. I need you to write that in. Yes, hard.
That's all you need is the government to say so.
Yeah, just because the government says so, we have value to the money that they produce for us to use. Okay? So put that in. All right, here we go.
banknotes that must be accepted if offered as payment. So the value of today's money actually comes from a legal status given to it by a central authority, in this case, the government. And so the trust model has changed from trusting something to trusting someone, in this case, the government. Fiat money has two main drawbacks. One, it is centralized. You have a central authority that controls and issues it, in this case, the government or central bank. And two, it is not limited by quantity. The government or central bank can print as much as they want whenever needed and inflate the money supply on the market. The problem with printing money is that because you're flooding the market with more money, the value of each dollar drops, so your own money is worth less. When you see prices rising throughout the years, it's not necessarily that prices are rising as much as that the purchasing power of your money is dropping. You need more dollars to buy something that used to cost less.
Okay. More to fill out. Yes? So, money today is centralized. And what was the other one? Unlimited. Okay. And then here's the problem with the money.
Once fiat money was in place, the move to digital money was pretty simple. We already have a central authority that issues money, so why not make money mostly digital and let that authority keep track of who owns what? Today, we mainly use credit cards, wire transfers, PayPal, and other forms of digital money. The amount of physical money in the world is almost negligible, and it's getting smaller with each year that passes. So if money today is digital, how does that even work? I mean, if I have a file that represents $1, what's to stop me from copying it a million times and having $1 million? This is called the double spend problem. The solution that banks use today is a centralized solution. They keep a ledger on their computer which keeps track of who owns what. Everyone has an account, and this ledger keeps a tally for each account. We all trust the bank, and the bank trusts their computer, and so the solution is centralized on this ledger in this computer. You may not know this, but there were many attempts to create alternative forms of digital currencies. However, none were successful in solving the double spend problem without a central authority. Whenever you give anyone control over the money supply, you're giving them enormous power, and this creates three major issues. The first issue is corruption. Power corrupts, and absolute power corrupts absolutely. When banks have a mandate to create money or value, they basically control the flow of value in the world, which gives them almost unlimited power. A small example of how power corrupts can be seen in the Wells Fargo scandal, where employees secretly created millions of unauthorized bank and credit card accounts in order to inflate the bank's revenue stream, without their customers knowing about it for years. The second issue of a centralized system is mismanagement. If the central authority's interest isn't aligned with the people it controls, there may be a case of mismanagement of the money. For example, printing a lot of money in order to save a certain bank or institution from collapsing, as what happened in 2008. The problem with printing too much money is that it causes inflation and basically erodes the value of the citizens' money. One extreme example for this is Venezuela, where the government has printed so much money and the value of it has dropped so much that people are no longer counting money, but are weighing it instead. The last issue is control. You are basically giving away all control of your money to the government or bank. At any point in time, the government can decide to freeze your account and deny you access to your funds. Even if you use only cold hard cash, the government can cancel the legal status of your currency, as was done in India a few years back. This was the state of things until 2009. Creating an alternative to the current monetary system seemed like a lost cause, but then everything changed. In October of 2008, a document was published online by a guy calling himself Satoshi Nakamoto. The document, also called a white paper, suggested a way of creating a system for a decentralized currency called Bitcoin. This system claimed to create digital money that solves the double spend problem without the need for a central authority. At its core, Bitcoin is a transparent ledger without a central authority. But what does this confusing phrase even really mean? Well, let's compare Bitcoin to the bank. Since most money today is already digital, the bank basically manages its own ledger of balances and transactions. However, the bank's ledger is not transparent, and it's stored on the bank's main computer. You can't sneak a peek into the bank's.
You got it? It's the next page. Bitcoin versus banks. Okay. Bitcoins are transparent and decentralized, and banks have a non-transparent. They have their own ledger, they have their own way of practicing, and they're meaning like they decide how the money that they gather for the people gets spent and loaned out. Okay, so that centralized idea is for the
ledger,
banks.
and only the bank has complete control over it. Bitcoin, on the other hand, is a transparent ledger. At any point in time, I can sneak a peek into the ledger and see all of the transactions and balances that are taking place. The only thing you can't figure out is who owns these balances and who is behind each transaction. This means Bitcoin is pseudo-anonymous. Everything is open, transparent, and trackable, but you still can't tell who's sending what to whom. Let's explain this with an example. You can see on your screen certain rows from Bitcoin's ledger. We can see that a certain Bitcoin address sent 10,000 Bitcoins to another Bitcoin address in May of 2010. This specific transaction is the first purchase that was ever made with Bitcoin, and it was used to buy 2 pizzas by a guy named Laszlo. Laszlo published a post back in 2010 asking for someone to sell him 2 pizzas in exchange for 10,000 Bitcoins. Well, someone did, and now the price of these 2 pizzas is worth well over $100 million today. Bitcoin is also decentralized. There's no one computer that holds the ledger. With Bitcoin, every computer that participates in the system is also keeping a copy of the ledger, also known as the blockchain. So if you want to take down the system or hack the ledger, you'll have to take down thousands of computers which are keeping a copy and constantly updating it. Like most money today, Bitcoin is also digital. This means there's nothing physical that you can touch in Bitcoin. There are no actual coins. There are only rows of transactions and balances. When you own Bitcoin, it means that you own the right to access a specific Bitcoin address record in the ledger and send funds from it to a different address. So, what does all of this mean? Why is Bitcoin such big news? Well, for the first time since digital money came into existence, we now have an alternative to the current system. Bitcoin is a form of money that no government or bank can control. Think about the time before the internet, how centralized the flow of information was. Basically, if you wanted information, you could get it from a few major players, like the New York Times, the Washington Post, and others like them. Today, thanks to the internet, information is decentralized, and you can communicate and consume knowledge from around the world with the click of a button. Bitcoin is the internet of money, and it's offering a decentralized solution to money. Bitcoin has several advantages over the current system. First, it gives you complete control over your money. With Bitcoin, you and you alone can access your funds. How you actually do this will be explained in a later video. No government or bank can decide to freeze your account or confiscate your holdings. Bitcoin also cuts a lot of the middlemen from the process of transferring money. This means that in many cases, Bitcoin is cheaper to use than traditional wire transfers or money orders. Also, unlike fiat currencies, Bitcoin was designed to be digital by nature. This means you can add additional layers of programming on top of it and turn it into smart money, but more on that in later videos. Finally, Bitcoin opens up digital commerce to 2.5 billion people around the world who don't have access to the current banking system. These people are unbanked or underbanked because of where they live and the reality that they've been born into. However, today, with a mobile phone and a clickable button, they can start trading using Bitcoin. No permission needed. Today, there are several merchants online and offline that accept Bitcoin. You can order a flight or book a hotel with Bitcoin if you like. There are even Bitcoin debit cards that allow you to pay at almost any store with your Bitcoin balance. However, the road toward acceptance by the majority of the public is still a long one. As we continue in this video series, we will break down exactly how Bitcoin works and how to use it. We will learn about Bitcoin mining, Bitcoin wallets,
All right, so we got the advantages of Bitcoin. Okay. Full control, no middlemen, programmable, and open to all. Yes? Okay, and who accepts them? Microsoft, Expedia, Wikipedia. ANX is just an example of a credit card or a debit card, but some financial institutions do accept them, so you can change it out to like a value of a fiat money kind of a thing. Okay. All right. So the last part, what are the risks of cryptocurrency? So what I would like you to do with that is this. Let's see. I want to make sure I get to the right side here. Nope. Not yet. You need to get the other aspect of it, which is right here. Go ahead and click on that link. Come on. Open link. Safari. All right. So there are many risks. The guy that was teaching us about Bitcoin and cryptocurrency has only given you like an advantageous view of why cryptocurrency is great. But there's also downside to something awesome. Like the way that we can use the internet for our advantage, but we can't always trust the credibility of what's online all the time, right? Same idea, decentralized. That means a lot of people are taking part in contributing the information, contributing cryptocurrency, but at the same time, there's some risks that go with it, okay? So I want you to read through with your team. So you're gonna move to your teams and decide which are the 5 risks that you guys want to consider and think about that could be a downside to your investment in crypto. So that way you have a balanced view of crypto. I don't want it to be just like, crypto's great, crypto's great, crypto's great, and then give it to your client without any consideration of risk. You should always consider the risk. What's the worst case possibility? What's the worst case scenario? Okay? Questions? All right, get to your groups. Oh, sorry, one question.
Can we submit the graphic organizer now?
Yes, go ahead and submit it if you're ready. But, no, wait. Time out. Before you submit it, don't you need the 5 risks listed? So list it first and then go ahead and submit it, okay? So let's get to your groups, 2 to 4, and then I want to make sure that I have the right groups set up here, okay?